least skip the shower. Because why?
Oh, yeah. You have to have one day, at least
Yeah.
one day a week where you just, like, keep your pajamas on.
Yeah, that's the day that I guess, lay around, don't do anything, except for today. I'm here. But normally, I would just kind of relax and chill, watch TV, keep Channel 12 News on loop, and watch it like 3 times, 3 go-rounds before I finally say, I get it. I understand that there was a car accident into a car dealership and took out 12 cars. That happened yesterday.
When do you think that started, like the loop? Like, do you think we were just kids, and when the 6 o'clock news came on, they ran it once, then they ran it again, then they ran it 11, and that was it?
No, it was always.
Because now I just feel like if I come back 20 minutes later, it's the exact same story.
Yeah, it always, like back in the day with us, it was, you got the 5 o'clock news, 7 o'clock news, right? And then it was the 11 o'clock. And 11 o'clock was like the real news. That's when you have to tune in. And stay up a little, like if you're a kid or whatever, you stay up and you watch the 11:30, and then Johnny Carson came on. But that 11:30 was the news. That's all the news you got. That was the entire day and everything. And then when they started the CNN and all of those 24-hour news cycles, like our very own News 12, they just started repeating it. And if they don't have a block of shows, like a lot of these cable ones do, but if you're News 12, you just show the same 20 minutes over and over again.
Why was the 6 o'clock news so different from the from the 11 o'clock news? Why? Because it was, maybe you could show more graphic things because it was later in the day or something?
If I remember correctly, the 6 o'clock news always had like a more younger, more attractive host, like a anchor, and then the 11 o'clock news always had I'm Tom Brokaw. Today we want to talk about what's going on with the hostages in Iran. When are we going to get these hostages back? And that kind of stuff. And then that made names and superstars out of those 3 guys. Who was it? Tom Brokaw, Peter Jennings, and there was another one I can't think of right now.
Do it again. Tom Brokaw,
Peter
Jennings, and
the third one. I forget. But yeah, I mean, those guys became like news rock stars. And then they also the same guys that got bitter when cable news took over the news world. And, made it what it is today.
I'm just trying to share here. I can't. I'm trying to find it. Sometimes it pops up automatically and then it doesn't. Oop, yeah. There we are. Okay,
there we
good.
go.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, you have a good weekend so far, Sallie O'Neill?
Yeah, you know what? It was actually a really good weekend. We hung with the kids like a little bit. It was fun, and today I'm sure Tony will like talk about it, like a little. Let's say like what we're doing today for like later, because I'm sure Tony's gonna want to like talk about it. It's kind of cool. We're gonna go to a meet and greet with Huey Lewis.
Oh, no way!
He's a huge Huey Lewis fan.
And you guys have met Huey before.
Yeah, like we worked with him.
Yeah.
But when I first met Tony and he was like, "Oh, let's go to a Huey Lewis concert," I was like, "Yeah, right, kidding?" And I was like, "Oh." And then he said, "Yeah, I've seen him like, I don't know what he said, like 38 times or something."
Wow.
So then I was like, "Oh." At first I thought you were kidding.
Yeah.
And then I thought you were serious, but now you're definitely kidding, but he was serious. So I kept doing this. I was like, "Ha. Oh. Ha! Oh." And I didn't even know what to do.
He's a Huey Lewis super fan.
Yeah, well, he loves music. So there's like plenty of groups he is a little fanatical about.
Right.
Like he just really knows like a lot of details. He loves learning about them. He doesn't like any of the silly gossipy stuff. He just loves the straight, like, this band member was in it, and he'll be like, from 1981 in April, left and then came back. Like,
wow. So he's like really into it.
He loves that stuff. Yeah.
That's like Matt Pinfield level of knowledge of rock and roll. I used to write for Circus Magazine. I wrote for Good Times Magazine, covered the music scene, interviewed a lot of those bands, and that's how I learned them because, but I'm not encyclopedia knowledge like guys like Tony are. And I've never met Huey Lewis. I don't know who I'd want to meet more, Huey Lewis or the news. I think, there's a news theme today. But I think the news would be fun to me. Does Tony know all the members of the News also?
I don't know that he does. I'm sure he's met them since, he was a kid. Just because he's one of those that will go to a concert and then like hang out afterwards. Like I like to say goodbye like after the last song, and Tony likes to say goodbye to the band. You know? Like he does. Literally he does.
Right, yeah.
So I'm sure he's like shared, which is great. Like the first time he wanted to stay after, I think we saw like a Graham Nash concert, and he was like, well, let's go see if he's out of the dressing room. Maybe he'll like say hi. I'm like, what? It felt intrusive, but they love it.
Yeah,
like, I really had a good time.
So what, you guys like wait around by like the exit, by the back door where we come out of?
Yeah, there'll be like a group of people that do this.
Yeah, there's like
but the people in the band are like really thankful. Like I thought they'd be like, oh, them again. But it isn't. Like I think they really get a kick out of it because they're all nice people. They're not crazy people. They're like, oh, could you sign this single CD that you made on your own that no one in the world, including maybe the guy's mother,
and they
knows.
Try to impress them. Like so they want, like if it's Graham Nash, they want to show Graham Nash like a record that's like a B-side of something, and then he goes, oh my God, where'd you get this? And they're trying to impress Graham Nash himself with their knowledge of Graham Nash.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just like thankful to say hi and stuff. So like,
cool.
So there's that. So so
do you guys bring anything to get signed?
I've seen him do it sometimes, but not really. He just likes to say hi, and he really honestly, he's met them before, so he's not even doing it at the point where he wants to. He's not like he's a groupie. At this point, he's very polite, so he always likes to say, thank you. So he just likes to say thank you to them.
Right. That's cool.
Like he sounds like he's weird, but he's so polite.
I don't think it's weird.
And they really liked him.
One time, I did something similar. Okay, so I went one time. It was show number 13 when David Letterman first went to CBS, and me and my brother went to Manhattan, and we had tickets, and we went to the show. And on that show was Jerry from the Grateful Dead, Jerry Garcia, who is one of Benny Rizzuto's biggest heroes of all time.
Oh yeah, he came on one time. Like I think it was literally the day Jerry Garcia, like it was his birthday or he died. It was some rite of passage for Jerry Garcia, and like Benny, who we've had him on the show like 3 or 4 times, probably even more. Yeah. And I've known him on your show, and he can talk about anything. And during that day, it was so funny because you'd be like, yeah, this is a black headphone. So Jerry Garcia, when he wore his black headphone, you couldn't get him off the man.
Right,
he was so obsessed with it, and he's not usually like that.
So yeah, and Jerry Garcia at this time was doing a solo performance, right?
Oh yeah.
So he performs
Which
last.
is even more special,
Yeah, and we're there. We had good seats, and the whole time I'm watching Dave. I think John Lovitz may have been a guest on there. Oh
yeah, from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, so we're watching it, and then the show ends, and now we're all going to get escorted out. And for us to go out, because we had good seats, we had to go close to the stage to exit the door. So as I'm exiting the door, I see Paul Schaefer.
Oh,
so
really?
I start yelling to Paul, hey, Paul, can I get an autograph? Paul. And Paul just waving to me, hey, how you doing? How's it going? Hi. And then finally a security guard comes over and goes, sir, you got to move. And then as I'm leaving, there's the
Not
whole
to
time.
interrupt you, but he's really nice. He's Paul
great.
Schaefer. Like, Tony actually asked him to come on the show, and no one answers him, when they're at that level. Yeah. And Paul's like, hey, Tony, thanks for writing.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
But the whole time when I'm yelling to Paul, I'm looking around I thought it was a grip or somebody. I'm looking around the leg. And I'm like, Paul, hey! And then finally the security guy comes and takes me away. And then I look up at the guy whose leg it was, and it's Jerry Garcia the whole time. He's right in front of me. His leg is right.
You could be like squishing Jerry Garcia's leg.
And he's rolling the
kind of like going up his sleeve. I guess like get up.
He's rolling a cable. He's just looking at me like, you just missed out on the opportunity. I would have signed an autograph for you, you dumb ass. I, on the grand scheme of things, I am way bigger star than Paul Schaefer ever will be.
I know. You missed it.
And then he passed away like that year, I think. Or the year. Yeah, and I was like, son of a bitch! And that's, I missed out on the opportunity. I totally looked around Jerry Garcia to say hello to Paul Schaefer. So
but you know what? That's a cool memory too.
It was cool. I remember
that.
his face looking right at me with disgust.
You dumbass. You're a dumbass.
he may have been stoned. I don't know, but I was sober, unfortunately, and it was just a very cool, weird memory. But yeah. So and then there was a lot of people waiting outside in groups to get autographs. And when I was in hockey, I would remember leaving the hotels, and there'd be tons of people, depending on who it was, what city we were in or whatever. But people would be mobbing around like for Ovechkin or somebody like that to get his autograph. They'd be lingering around the team bus, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they just kind of like linger, kind of like hang around, pretend like they've always just stood in the parking lot like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm always here. I get my Dunkin' Donuts there every day.
They're like autograph paparazzi.
Yeah.
Because they know where the celebrities are going to be. They're armed and ready with like 8x10 glossies.
Oh yeah.
and Sharpies, and they're ready for action, and they'll chase celebrities down, get those autographs, sell them on eBay or whatever they do.
Right. Oh, is that what they do? They sell them?
A lot of people will sell them on eBay. So if they let's say they get, Paul Schaefer or whatever. Not that his value of his autographs.
People know him.
But let's just say you get like a star, like a Justin Bieber, and you find him on the street and you get him to sign 3 or 4 8x10s. You could then turn those over and sell them online.
Right.
Yeah, and people, I don't know if
people do that.
People definitely do that. It's crazy. But yeah, Huey Lewis in the news.
Oh, so we'll talk about Huey later because Ken's asking questions about it already. But
about Huey?
About Huey. Yeah.
All right, good. Yeah.
I'm trying to catch up here. I was just sharing it. I used to be able to share shows like really, really fast. Like I could do like 1 or 2 really fast, but like there's so many places that Tony shares. So I was like trying to figure out his iPad.
And the people at home watches, you could share it too.
Yeah, that would be really helpful.
Yeah,
Thank you.
And you could also watch it on Boxcast, Facebook Live. We're on Govs Radio. Are we getting on Sirius also? I think I saw something.
Yeah, we've been doing a bunch of stuff. We've been Andy, and I can't. It's not Andy Plagianos. It's Andy.
Plajanios.
No, the nice guy who comes in here, and he was here with Jackie that one day. He showed us how to like send him to a bunch of places.
Cool. Yeah, because then I think too, if you get it on SoundCloud.
Yeah, SoundCloud.
It
and
automatically
stuff like that.
gets it onto iTunes.
iTunes, yeah, we've been doing that. So we've been like getting it like all over the place. There's a lot of good shows out there these days. Like, so you had your show.
Yes, we had our finals on Saturday night, and it was
almost finals, right? Or is it semifinal?
It was I guess like the semifinals, and then this would be like the championship round coming up, which is Kristen Tinsley versus Mandy Jones.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's going to be a great showdown of 2 really good comedians who made it all the way through the game show. And made it up. This will be the 4th time doing the episode, like 4 episodes each of these 2.
Yeah.
And it's hard, man. The first episode's hard. And then they go through it again and again and again.
It's really hard.
And we make the rounds harder. The challenges get a little bit harder. It's also harder even roasting because they've roasted the Gagoots, the same guy, now 4 times. So to come, and then this one, the other spin is they are going to not only roast Gagoots for 2 minutes.
Okay.
Then they got to roast each other for 2 minutes.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
They'll have to go at each other.
Yeah, to see that.
And here's the thing, like, because I was thinking about this with, like, because I know Mandy won the week before.
Yeah.
So I was trying to think of how different it would be, like Bonnie versus Kristen. And the one thing that I thought about with, like Kristen just this morning as I was driving here, I was thinking, Kristen, because there's different types of comics. Like, some comics, they're, like, really famous and they do the same like skit all the time. There's some comics that they hate to do anything similar. Everything's always fresh, and then most people are right in the middle.
Right.
So, but the one thing that struck me about Mandy and Kristen is they do spend time because Mandy likes to do original stuff practically all the time.
Right.
And Kristen is a writer, so she loves to do that as well.
Yeah.
So it'll be really interesting having like original stuff between the 2 of them.
It's going to be cool. I'm really pleasantly happy to see that it's two women that made it.
Yeah,
Because a lot of people
the boys were knocked out long ago.
a lot of people think stand-up comedy is always a man's game, and here we have
Yeah.
two women made it to the finals, and deservedly so. And it's not always, it's definitely a game. There's a game show element to it. We got a wheel. We got all kinds of stuff.
We got a wheel.
Yeah, so they a wheel of jokes. But no, I am so psyched. I'm very happy with the two who made it. They're both great comedians, great women, deserve it. It's going to be fun. We got Jackie the Joke Man Martling will be here, guest judging for that show. We have Joey Petroni will be here. You will be here.
Yeah, that'll be great. I'll be a really. I love those two guys
Yeah.
a lot. Like, I just really like them a lot. I don't even know if they know each other, but they should know each other because they're both really nice people.
They're both really great people. Jackie is an icon, especially in the comedy world and Howard Stern fans alike, but also his joke writing. He's Jackie the Joke Man for a reason. So I think he's really going to, I would think he'll enjoy the joke writing challenge. He took one of the joke writing challenges like a couple weeks ago. Eric and Tony sent him it, and he took the joke writing challenge and had a funny joke he made of it.
It was really funny.
Yeah, I gotta find that. But
it's interesting to see the people that because the people that are contestants, they're new. They're not. They'll be the first to tell you they're new. They've been doing it for 6 months, 2 years, 5 years, and it strikes me that the more seasoned a comedian is, like the ones that are on the big stage, and they'll tell you that they didn't even consider themselves a comic for years and years and years and years and years.
Right.
So, the contestants will tell you the same thing. So, but it's interesting to see someone seasoned like Jackie, who they do this for a living because that's what they should be doing for a living. He wrote a joke in 30 seconds.
And he's written, I don't know how many joke books. He has his laugh line, 922 Wine. I think it's still active now. You could call it 922 Wine and hear Jackie Joke Man give you some jokes. So this is a real deal joke writer. So the wheel of jokes is right in his alley. He could kill the wheel of jokes.
Right.
And then he will probably make jokes about the wheel of jokes. And then he'll make jokes about people spinning the wheel of jokes. He'll make fun of everything. So he's just got it. But it was the last show was very fun. It
was.
Yeah,
it was really fun, and a lot more people are watching it. There's a buzz around it, which is great.
And we need all the people we can get to watch this last episode. Really support the local stand-up comedy, support Gov's Radio, support Gov's Comedy Club, all that good stuff. Because I think this is very cool to have our very first put up, shut up, stand up champion.
Yeah.
Season 1 took 15 shows to get here. And a lot of work. These comedians put in a lot of work, and I commend them for it. And it's not easy to come in here to go through these challenge rounds in front of these judges that you either know them or you don't know them, or you've heard of them, or whatever. Whoever the judge is, it could be intimidating. If I'm standing in front of anybody and they're judging me, it's intimidating. And I do give them a ton of credit. Every single comedian that's been on the show. So for the 15 episodes we've had X amount of comedians. They've all been great. They've all been worthy. And hats off to all of you. And here we go, coming down to the finals. And it's huge. It's a great thing. And my eyes are itchy. I'm not cheering up
Did you bring
here.
a cat with you or something?
No, I don't
you
know
have
what
that.
happened.
There's a cat in the room. Look.
I'm not tearing up. I'm not getting emotional.
I made you cry.
But I should be. No, but no, this is big stuff. And we met a lot of great people along the way.
And back to people like doing this in front of comics and judges and whatever. Like also the people, they're new comics, and your show's getting 1,000 to 2,000 people watching. So that, and that's only by that first day. So there's a lot of people watching the show, and that while you're screwing up and trying really hard and trying to think on your feet. It's a little nerve-wracking. So I do give everyone who takes a chance to come out here and do this a lot of credit.
And I think that
I would not do it because I'm not a comic.
I think that any comedian who watches understands how difficult it is. And I think any comedian who watches would empathize and sympathize and also kind of want to do it, but also say to themselves, wow, that's hard to do. I could understand, the wheel of jokes or the premise pressure where we're throwing premises at you. This week we're going to have hot topics, where we're throwing news topics, and you have to turn the news into something funny. And it could be all kinds of.
Oh, really? Like topical news?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of the premise pressure, but every premise will be on the news.
Okay.
On current events, essentially, not just all Trump and impeachments and all that kind of stuff, but other news as well. I don't know what's going on in the news.
Like March 1st, you can't use plastic bags, stuff like that.
Yes, there you go. You just wrote one, so we'll put that. No, we'll put
was that helpful? Or did I steal your thunder?
No, that's great. I got to compile a list. Me and Benny are going to be compiling a list of hot topics that we're going to throw at them.
Right.
Benny Gagooch Rizzuti is another one I want to thank. I always thank him every week, but he's a great guy. Huge part of the show. He's a hard work every week. I mean, just the Gagooch side of it.
Yeah.
Every week coming up with roasts on these people, especially now when he's got to do it, roast each of them again. Like, he's roasted Mandy Jones like a few times. He's roasted Kristen Tinsley. Now he's got to write new ones.
Right.
And he's also intimidated too. Jackie's going to be here.
Yeah, well, because here's the thing. Like Benny, because Benny is Benny, and Benny can, like, take it and come back at you. Like, I think comics feel safe with other comics to go at them.
Right.
So Benny, he stands here, he's working really hard, and the comics that you have on judging go at him because they feel comfortable. So Benny's just a punch, like he's a piñata up there. Like, people are roasting him, slamming him. He doesn't even know what to do.
Sometimes our show could be like, if you're at the diner at 2 a.m. with a bunch of comedians just giving each other a hard time, it becomes that sometimes.
Yeah, it does.
So you do have to have thick skin in this industry, in any industry. Look, entertainment in general, whether you're an actor, a poet, a painter, a comedian, whatever you're doing, it's in the arts or in the entertainment field. You have to have thick skin because you know what? It doesn't always go your way. People aren't going to see your vision all the time. And you're going to get passed over, you're going to lose, and you're going to get made fun of or whatever. People are going to hate on you. And that's, by the way, also a key when you know you're doing something right is when you start to get more haters come into your life. Yeah. Then you know you're doing something right because nobody cares if you're not. If you're not doing anything right, no one's going to care enough to hate you, right? But then you got to just overcome all of those things to be bigger and better. And I'll keep going higher and higher with my hands. But the thing is this: you have to have thick skin in this industry. Oh, we are
like the Barry Manilow flame.
But you have to have thick skin in any industry, but especially in stand-up comedy, because comedians do pride themselves on their quick wit, and sometimes it's at your expense, and you just got to roll with it. You got to roll with it, and you got to give it back or absorb it. Because not everybody's, even great comedians, aren't always fast at it, or don't enjoy insulting each other like that.
The tit for tat.
But you have to know how to absorb it, take it, and move along.
Right.
But look. That said, like I said, the show is a lot of fun. I'm so psyched about the championship round. I'm so psyched to see Mandy Jones and Kristen Tinsley perform. It's just really super cool. And I can't believe we're actually at the finale.
And, you just started this. Like, what month did you start? I forget.
We started November 2nd. Was our very first show ever.
And Governors, like, shows come in here and, like, because, to stick up for Governors Comedy Club, like, a lot of the shows that we have on Governors Radio really have nothing to do with comedy. And that's great. Because there's a lot of people out here that like a lot of different kind of shows. So they don't really follow at first, like, what shows are coming on, because it's not like they expect every show that comes on is a comedy show.
Right.
So, like, at first, like, when you started your show, you were wondering, like, what the big prize should be. And for, like, the first, like, few weeks, you wanted it to be where you'd have time in the big room.
Yeah.
But we were all too afraid to ask. So one thing that, like, I wasn't afraid of was that once they met you, that it would be fine.
Right.
But, they're so busy. It's a really busy comedy place. And we didn't want to, like, chase them down and be like, hey, meet Don. He's really great in here. He's doing this great show. We wanted to give it a few weeks, get a few buzz, see a lot of people watching, hear the comics that are coming in, hear the judges that are coming in, and kind of like feed them that a little bit. So for the first, like the poor people that, like, first were contestants,
no
they'd be
idea.
like, "What are we gonna win?" And we'd be like, "We don't know." But it's gonna be good. It's a surprise. Like we didn't know how to handle it.
We didn't know how to handle it, and I was so
Yeah.
grateful when James finally gave us the green light.
Yeah, and he was thrilled.
It was James's idea to make it a paid spot because we were just kind of promoting. We wanted to have a spot on the main stage, and then he says, "Make it a paid spot." And I was like, "Okay, that is awesome."
They're good people.
Yeah, they're
you
great.
know?
They're great here. And for a comedian just starting out, a couple years under their belt, to be able to go through this process and then get a spot on the main stage in front of a huge crowd, that's a pretty cool prize. And then as we developed, so Benny and myself were looking at this season 1 as a developmental year where we're going to evolve and grow, try new things out, and see where we land. And I think we've really are coming to a good place. And when we start off on season 2, in March 7th, I think we're going to have giveaways and things like that for
a couple of
for the
changes
smaller
or
round.
something.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's one thing I like about like both you and Benny. Like you're happy to look at something and be like, oh, let's do this a little bit different next time.
Yeah.
So I like that, and it's so funny. Like people, there's such a buzz around this show. Like people, like I'm like Saturday morning drinking my coffee and people are texting me. You know what I think, and a lot of them like great suggestions. Like Daniel Asher's mommy Joan. She had like a couple of good suggestions. She's like, maybe when they spin the wheel, if they land on the same one, maybe they should be able to spin again. Like, they're like all these like. But I guess my point is like, there's such a cool buzz about it that the fact that someone who loves the show is bothering to write, I love it.
I think it's fun because you see the comedians like with the wheel of jokes, they're spinning a wheel that's going to land on a random joke premise, and then you're kind of curious what they're going to come up with.
Right.
And look, the thing too that I also want to say is that there really aren't many rules in our show. Like there was some discrepancies about the judges were given a hard time to the contestants about getting material off the internet, right?
Right.
So there's not a rule, and there's not going to be a rule about taking jokes off the internet or stealing jokes or whatever. And the reason why there's not going to be a rule is because I cannot police it. I cannot prove it.
That's true. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
But like, is it going to be a thing with like the next group? Will you be like,
no,
do not? You're just going to like leave it?
I'll let it
and,
be.
See how it goes?
I'll let it. And here's why. First of all, there's something called your own personal integrity. If you're going to be a comedian, right? If I'm going to be a comedian, I'm going to write at my own set, and I'm going to go up on stage. Am I going to take my jokes from George Carlin or whoever else, right? Or other great comedians that I love, or am I going to go on joke books and take jokes? No, you want to write your own set, right? Otherwise, you're considered a hack, okay?
Right.
Now, that's something that every comedian already knows or should know. That's nothing that I'm making up right now. It's not an insult. It's just the way it is. If you steal jokes, you're considered a hack. Or in some cases, some guys, Robin Williams included. Robin Williams, I forget who the comedian was, but it was a Long Island guy, confronted Robin Williams after stealing one of his jokes and using it on like a talk show or something.
Oh, really?
And because Robin Williams is so fast thinking.
Yeah.
That I seen Robin Williams use like Ray Romano jokes on shows and stuff. But anyway, so this guy approached Robin Williams and was about to like kick his ass. This is how the story goes. I've heard this story maybe 5-6 hand. Who
Sure.
knows? It's like folklore. But anyway, Robin Williams then said to him, "Hold on a second. Oh, wait. He reached in his pocket, pulled out a checkbook, wrote out a check to him, and goes, "Now you're my comedy writer. Now you're a writer.
Nice.
You write for me."
Yeah.
So, and then and then the guy accepted the money, of course, because struggling comedian.
Sure.
And then and then went on to become good friends with Robin Williams and write for Robin Williams, and all that. That said, even Robin Williams can't escape joke thievery. Dane Cook, Carlos Mencia, famous, Amy Schumer, all these people saw huge dents in their career for taking jokes, whether they admit it or not.
Yeah.
And all that. So this is a real thing in the comedy community, and they police themselves.
Right.
Okay. Now, can our show prevent people from taking jokes off the internet? No, I can't, and I'm not going to make a rule about it because I can't prove it. unless it's blatant, like unless they use like a Rodney Dangerfield or, hey, I got 7 dirty words or something like that, where I'm like, you're blatantly stealing. But if they're taking a joke that could be parallel thinking or like a Trump joke or something where 1 million people have Trump jokes, so there's also parallel thinking. So you and I might have a topic and think of the same joke.
Right.
But does it mean I've stole it from you? No, it just means...
Oh, yes, it...
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
But... So there's no rule. There's not going to be a rule. If contestants come up here and steal jokes and get away with it, fine. If they go up and they don't get away with it, there's nothing. There's also not a rule for me to control the judges and how the judges interpret what they see, because these judges are here for their expertise in the field. Now they might not be experts in stand-up comedy, so to speak, but they're comedians and they're experts in their own right, from their own experiences, right?
Yeah.
And their own background.
Their own feelings about it.
And their own feelings about it.
And it's like a gut feeling.
Right, yeah.
So it's like, it's hard to like...
It's a roll of the dice. The judges you get, the contestants you get, the way the wheel spins, the way the premises get thrown at you, everything it's not the same show every week. It's
right.
different. If you even watch the shows, they're different. Some are more fast, funny, like, a lot of give and take. Others are a little slower and more informative.
Sometimes you have that handsome intern, Sam.
Yeah, sometimes we got Sam on the
Leonardo
boards.
DiCaprio working the board.
Yeah, sometimes we have Sam on the boards, Leo DiCaprio Jr.
Jackie still calls him Leo. Jackie will text me and be like, how's Leo?
He probably thinks that's his actual name.
No.
But the point is that, look, it's not always the same show. It's sometimes you get dealt the hand you get dealt, and you got to deal with it. Sometimes you're going to get called out on things. I've seen other comedians when Jeffrey Gurian laid into like Dana McAllister about not being prepared and not having her her comedy right and writing it in the car 10 minutes before coming on the show.
Right.
It was like a moment where I was like, wow, this guy is really going. He's really lecturing her right now.
Yeah, and you want them to, because you want them to help them and be constructive. But like people like Dana, I believe she'd been doing it for like 4 months.
She was doing it a year. Her year was on February.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I seriously thought it was months.
No. She has her year anniversary was in February. She's a great comedian. I'm just using that as an example of a judge lecturing one of these people, one of our comedians. And so that's how it goes. So some comedians are going to go at you and with tongue in cheek and be fun, but I think others are going to take it more serious of the craft.
Yeah.
But I think if they listen in, there's always really solid advice and solid critiques.
There is, because they're funny. Because like the thing with comics, like if they have if the judges have something to say, and they have something funny to say, they're going to say it.
Yeah.
Or if they have something that they want to help with, they're going to say it. It's like herding cats.
Right,
you can't like comics because they're performers. So you have like no. I mean, I don't know. Do you talk to them ahead of time at all?
The comedians, I talk to the comedians ahead of time via message board. I put them both. We create a group. So it's the 3 of us. It'll be me and the 2 contestants, and I basically give them the rundown of the show.
Yeah.
And I'll say, hey, this week, remember. This is like in this case. I was like, this is round 2. Mm-hmm. The Gagoots is coming at you guys. I was like, be prepared for the Gagoots. Be prepared
for that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they're like, we are. They were. They had their stuff.
Yeah. Each week it's gotten better, which is like as it should be. I'm just reading some comics. Like someone's talking about Robin Williams, and then they brought up Robin Thicke, and I was actually thinking about that before Ken Pichel.
Robin Thicke.
No.
Did he steal jokes?
No, but the music thing, like how
Robin
you handle it.
Yeah,
the difference between Robin Williams and someone else is like, no, that's my joke. Like,
right.
Like, I remember reading, like the whole Robin thing. He got sued. They went to court. It was
because he said, I know you want it.
And then I forget who it was. I think it was Sam, not Sam Cooke. But he used the same exact chords that Tom Petty used.
Oh, yeah.
I forget, Sam something. Such a sweet song, and he's such a sweet soul that Tom Petty went up to him and said, hey, mate. And Sam was like, like he didn't even see it until then. And he wrote him a check.
Right,
and he goes, thank you, I'm so sorry. Tom Petty was like, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, look, in any art form,
it's gonna happen.
There's plagiarism. Like, look at, there's a million examples. Like, even that guy from the New York Times who plagiarized, like, verbatim stories. And then there was another one. This guy was, like, a YouTube blogger, and he had, like, these, like, rants and raves thing he would do. And all his rants and raves were right out of Doug Stanhope's comedy.
Yeah.
So Doug Stanhope called him out on it.
Right.
And Doug Stanhope has a deep fan base of people who are trolls.
Right.
So they all came out of the woodworks, trolled this guy to where he had to pull all his pages down. He pulled his YouTube down, his Facebook down, his Twitter. I think the guy had to move to, Mexico. I don't know where the guy but it's real. Plagiarism is
it's really real, and sometimes it's by accident, and sometimes it's malicious. And I tend to be like a little bit more on the stricter side of that. Like I remember, like I had this. I when I lived down in California, I had this like coffee latte bar like that. I like owned and operated. It was really cool. It was like a little mini Starbucks, and I would play music, and I would always like put out the music that I was playing because obviously it wasn't me,
right.
And then I would put out a funny saying of the day, and I would never just put it out there and let someone walk by and think I made it up. Like I would feel sick about that. Like
you do like a
anything like Jack Handy, from like Saturday Night Live.
Right.
Like I would put Jack Handy, and then I would be like. Teach a man, or give a man a fish, he could eat for a day. Give a man or teach a man to fish, you get rid of him for the whole weekend.
Yeah.
But I would always be
right.
sure, like I don't want anyone to think I made that up. So I'm a little stricter about that. But it happens. It happens by accident. It happens by other means.
And like I said, look, with the wheel of jokes and something like that,
how do you feel about the spin again? Are you like, if you're stuck with like 17 knock jokes, that you must have killed a guy in another life, and you have to deal with that karma. I go back and forth.
A lot of the stuff, it was all I was writing a lot of these rounds on my own. So when you do something on your own, and there's no, you kind of, it's not going to be perfect. So what I'm doing is I'm going to meet up with Benny, and we're going to go through the wheel.
Sam Smith.
Oh, Sam Smith. Okay.
Thank you. It's killing me.
We're going to go through the rounds. We're going to, modify and try to tweak each round because we're adding new rounds as well. Because what I want to do in season 2 is not have the same 4 rounds every show. I want to mix it up. So in one round, you might have premise pressure, but then the following week it might be the wheel, and the week after that it might be hot topics, or so always mixing it. The one thing I do want to keep consistent, I think, are the signatures is the joke writing challenge, and the 5-minute or 3-minute
stand-up.
Yeah, set at the end. You have to do the stand-up set at the end. But the 2 in between, and the roast is also a huge thing, but I can't have or expect Benny to come up with, So
I know, poor Benny.
So we're coming up with.
It is so funny, though.
I love it.
I love that side of the. Too bad, Benny. Just work harder.
I love the Gagoots. When we came up with the idea, Benny had that Gagoots character for a long time, and then when I was like, we just throwing it out there, and I was like, hey, Benny, why don't the Gagoots roast these people? And I think Benny found his calling.
Yeah.
I don't think Benny has ever really roasted people like this in his past, like ever on stage. I don't believe he worked the crowd much. I don't believe he ever, I could be wrong, but I think this is bringing out a whole side. And the Gagoots character before this was never a roaster. He was a baker. He cooked food and stuff like that, right? He was like a chef.
Right.
So now to have this Gagoots character, and Benny is killing it week in, week out with these roasts. He's fast on his feet. He's funny. The accent, the mustache, the whole look, right? It's just become something great that I'm like loving it. I look forward to that part. That's the round that I look forward to the most every show.
Me too.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, Benny, we need it. We need it. I don't even know that the judges or anyone does, but me and Don need it.
Yeah, we love it.
Here's why I love him roasting. It's and me and Tony, like, we kind of go back and forth a little bit about this. Like, I really like the realness of people and shows. Like Tony likes things a little bit more professional, and I'm not one of those like people that like want to see people fail or anything. I actually just love the realness of it. Like Tony will like when we first started doing this, it was literally we didn't even have a stand, and we would take Tony's phone and we would like stick it up on a chair, and like halfway through every 5th show, Tony's phone would go clunk, clunk, clunk on the table. And that like drove him crazy. Like, oh, this is awful. I need this.
Yeah.
And if I was the viewer, I'd love that stuff. Because you know what? How many times during your day does your life go clunk, 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 clunk? And it's just funny and sweet and cute. And one of the things that I really like about Benny doing the roast is he's not this hardcore roaster that doesn't come out of character. There are those moments where he comes out of character and he's like, whoa. And it's endearing.
Yeah.
And every time he does that, I love him more.
I love it too. Even when his mustache falls off. But it's how he handles it.
The judges will be like, is his mustache like actually falling off his face? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. And last week it did not. It stayed on in its entirety. But like for 3 or 4 weeks in a row, it would fall off. But I think it's also great how Benny rolls with it. Because not only is he roasting people, he's getting roasted. And to be on the receiving end of a roast isn't always easy either, right? Because you get people throwing shots at you. So you talk about a guy with thick skin. This is a true guy who has thick skin, who is an example of how you should be as a comedian. He's been a comedian for a long time. Benny's got, I don't know, maybe 30 years. He knows everybody in the industry who's been around. He goes, way back with Joan St. Onge, and I think he knew Jackie back in the day, and Bob Nelson, Joey Cola. He's like came up with all these guys, and he's a great guy. If you ever get a chance to talk to him about the stand-up from the back in the day, he'll tell you some stories. And like I said, the roast battles is one of my favorite things, but we may intertwine. We might find different things. We're working on it. I'm going to meet with Benny.
Yeah, well, the things that you came up already were great, so I can't imagine anything else you come up with wouldn't be great too and interesting, and you want to mix it up a little bit,
We're going to tweak some of them. Yes, like some of the rounds we already had, we're going to, like you said about the wheel. Like, what do we do if they land on it twice? Those types of things we're going to address and figure it out.
Like the wheel is like warped a little, so there are some things like they'll never get. Like,
right.
like have you guys tested it that'll actually hit all of them?
We did test it because
okay, good.
Beforehand.
Because I'm looking at it, it's like a little wonky, but maybe you tested it and it's fine. Beforehand,
was Michael Spielberg, Bonnie's boyfriend. He was saying that the weight, he thinks the weight distribution on the wheel is off. So I wanted to bring in our scale guy, Jeff Posey, to come in and check it. No, but
but the point is that it's still fair because the next contestant does the same wheel.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
We tested the wheel out because their argument was that it's always landing on. What's up, Tony?
Hey, before you come up, can you fix that thing? Thanks.
The argument was that the wheel's always landing on corny joke. So. We just we spun the wheel a few times, and I don't think it landed on a corny joke once during that whole wheel joke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I don't think there's a science to it, but it is what it is, and the wheel lands where it lands, and whether it's a knock joke, a dad joke, or what have you. And we also have, and I think you could take any of those jokes. Let's say I have a joke I really want to say.
Okay. You could make it work.
You can make it work in any of those categories if you really do it. If you think on your feet,
right?
So it's not.
You have so much material, and you have 2 hours to get it out. That's the way I would look at it.
Yeah, exactly. And there's one way or the other, and that was the problem we had with premise pressure. Was that
it was totally wrong.
Every time.
When we had the premise pressure rounds. The problem was that it was so hard of a round that the comedians were literally drawing a blank, and to me it was too hard, right?
Right.
And then it was like dead air, crickets, and that kind of thing. So what I started to do was I would go take the time to watch their acts on YouTube and whatnot, and I would take premises off their act.
Yeah, so they'd feel more comfortable.
And then it was
that
working,
was really great.
But then it backfired with Plagianos when he's like, "Oh my God, I got my best 3 minutes."
He didn't know you were doing that.
I didn't let him know at first. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just doing it to kind of throw him a softball. Like, hey, here's 7-Eleven buttered rolls. And then he'd be like, he'd be like, oh my God, this is my act.
Thrown for that.
Well, it was because he was planning to use it in his best 3 minutes.
And he didn't want to.
So then what I would do is I would say, hey, give me 6 of your premises to the comedians. And then I would throw 4 of them into the batch. So we're trying to try to figure out a way to do it. But I think also as more and more people watch the show, and like comedians especially, and understand what's expected, then they could be more prepared. Okay, I know premise pressure's coming up.
Yeah.
I know that, there's so many premises in the world, but I could lock in on a few. It's like having stock jokes that you've written. So if I know you're going to ask me about, it could be any Trump question. Let's just use Donald Trump because to me it's become a hacky premise. But let's just say everybody has Donald Trump jokes. So let's just say you throw out the impeachment, then I'll go into my Trump stock, and then I come out with a Trump joke. So you don't always have to say impeachment and then, oh my God, the impeachment really sucks. Huh? I mean, they couldn't get him, and then there's no punchline.
Right.
So just have, I know there might be Trump jokes. Have a Trump joke in your ready to go.
Sure.
If it's going to be a joke about Nancy Pelosi or that guy with the big eyes, hello, he's guilty, he's guilty, or whatever. So you just got to, roll with it and dig and come up. It's just like having a conversation.
Like pull it out like a Pez dispenser.
Exactly.
Like a little, all the categories that you have. And you know what, and that's one thing also that I like about you in the show is it does change week to week, so it's interesting. And you do see things that could go like a little bit better and you change them. And so I think it's good. Good.
Appreciate that. Yeah. And it's Saturday night, February 22nd. We got Jackie Jokeman and Joey Petroni are going to be our judges, as well as you, Sallie O'Neill, engineer extraordinaire, and our two finalists, Kristen Tinsley and Mandy Jones. Yes. So tune in for that one, everybody. Support your fellow comedians, and we always love when the comments come in and all. There will not be a fan poll. We were debating fan poll. So what we were going to do with the fan poll was have the fan poll this time. This was a great suggestion that came from Andrew Plajanos. Instead of the winner of the fan poll takes 10 points, what we would do is, let's just say it's 60% versus 40%. You give the 60% person gets 6 points, the 40 gets 4 points. So everybody gets points, everybody wins, and everybody's vote really counts.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, we were gonna do that, but
I didn't even think of that. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I love the idea, and that's part of what I'm talking about, how we're evolving and taking suggestions and all that. But I still don't want to go with it because I really want the championship round to be based off of their performance in the show. Yeah,
they've already proven that they, have a following, that they're, that they could bring a crowd and stuff.
Yeah, so no outside points from fan polls, or no outside points on the wheel. There's no +5 or minus points anymore. We took those off the wheel. So it's just going to be straight up judges' scores. And I think it's going to be a great show. I'm really looking forward. I'm looking forward to Jackie. I'm hoping he really is into it and buys into the show.
Yeah, well, he's very conversational, but he also is like smart enough to know when he needs to like pull back. He just likes to help you. Like if he thinks you're not going to have anything to say, he'll help you because he's so good at it. He's like, the Academy Awards when things were going awful and technical difficulties, and Robin Williams jumped on the stage and saved the day. He's like that. He could put out, he could pull back, and he could be really serious, and he has good advice.
I think he's going to be great. I can't wait. He's a legendary joke writer, written joke books, the 922 Wine joke line,
which is still out there.
Yeah, so I mean,
should I put it over there so it wasn't on my forehead?
Joan Croupier says, use the overhead camera. What does that mean?
I don't know, Joan, what would you mean for that? During Don's show or right now? Or?
But yeah, I mean, we're always open to suggestions and whatnot. I mean, like I said, me and Benny are going to be getting together, kind of going over for season 2 and figure it out, because we're also doing some pre-tape shows to get some. Because Saturday nights are hard too to get the headliners, to judge.
Because they're always working.
Yeah, so we're gonna try it out and make pre-tape or tape live and then re-air it again in a watch party down the road. So we're seeing how it goes.
Don't mind me.
All right. Tony Walker.
Sorry, am I blocking that camera?
No, that's all good. How you doing, Tone?
Doing all right. Doing all right. I had to take care of a little business.
All right.
Yeah, we were.
I see you did too. Take care of a little business.
Yeah. I was just going over the show and kind of some of the, the main thing of that the thing was I just wanted to make it clear that there is no rules to my show, other than what Benny.
That's comforting.
Yeah, because Benny goes through a rule book. Benny says what the show. I go, hey Benny, tell him what's going on. He'll go, hey, thanks Don, and then he'll say what that round is. He says it's for 15 shows straight. He said what the round is.
Right.
Now, is there a rule that says you can't steal jokes or take jokes from the internet? No, and there's not a rule that says you can't do that, and there's not going to be a rule. And like I explained to Sallie earlier, to people watching, I can't have a rule in place to do that because I can't police it. I can't say,
Right.
Hey, hold on, whoa, stop, everyone. I think that joke. Get me my joke book from Jack Benny from 1945. On page 32. I can't prove it. I don't have the wherewithal, the memory, the knowledge, or I don't have a bunch of proofreaders out there. I can't prove it. So and yes, a lot of comedians have done that. There's been comedians that straight up, you could tell by the jokes that they're not in the voice of that comedian or whatever. But that's not for me to decide. That's the judges. I don't judge the show. I host it.
Yeah, and the judges, like if they've heard the joke before and they know who wrote it or where it came from, then you're probably not going to get a good score. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly.
You're on the Knockem Comedy Radio Show. Who's this?
This is Ken. What's
Hello,
going on?
Ken. How was your weekend?
It was good. It was good. How was y'all?
All right. You did all right by Mrs. Dr. Pichelle with Valentine's Day?
Oh, yeah. We went to like a nearby burger place and had some dessert and had a
Big
better,
spender.
and then had a bigger and better meal on Saturday.
Oh, all right. You made up for it. Okay.
Oh, it was a mutual. I'm smart enough. I mean, we've been married over 20 years. It was a mutually discussed decision.
Very nice.
Very nice. Glad to hear it, pal. Glad to hear it.
I have a question about the wheel.
Yeah.
Here
let
we
me put my headphones on.
But that's
Yeah,
what I love. There's like a lot of buzz about the show. It's like so.
Well, yeah.
it's
Speaking
cool.
of the wheel, I see Joan Cooper-Asher says there is a suggestion to keep the wheel flat. So forgive me, I'm coming in late, so I'm just reading. But yeah,
that's why she wants the overhead camera with the. I don't know if the way the wheel's designed, if it's like the Wheel of Fortune wheel, like I don't think it would work because the way the wheel is designed, it's on a stand. I think what we got to do is find a place for the wheel where the wheel stays there the entire show, so we're not scrambling finding a place for it, and then it's got to be on a flat surface. I like where we had it. Maybe if we keep it in that corner the whole time, and then have because with the judges we could all sit around just like this,
right,
and then that whole corner could be the wheel. We're like I said, we're always working. But what's your question about the wheel, Ken?
You could buy a used roulette wheel.
We have no budget.
Yeah. Ken, are you kidding me? Do you know where that wheel came from? That wheel came from Benny's wife saying, "Get this freaking thing out of my garage." And then Benny came to work one day and said, "I don't know what to do with this. Can we use it?"
Benny,
okay.
He had the wheel from his other show.
Understandable.
Benny had a show before. In the past, Benny's been doing stuff like this for a long time. And then he said to me one day, he said, "Hey Don, you need a wheel for the show?"
I mean,
I got a wheel if you want it. And I said, "Yeah, you know what? A wheel would be great. We can make it the Wheel of Jokes." And then Benny said, "All right, if that's what you want to do with it, whatever you want to do with it, I don't give a shit." And I said, "All right, thank you, Benny."
Yeah, he's like, "Don, I just got to get this out of my house."
I guess got to get
familiar to
it.
me.
Please take the fucking wheel.
Yeah, so what I pointed out before is even though certain ones pop up more often, when the next contestant goes, it's going to be the same for them. So it's not like there's two wheels and one isn't perfect and the other isn't. It's just,
And that's why sometimes when we start to evolve, like with the round one of the tournament, we had 4 rounds. So there's 8 people. We had to go, so we had to do 4 shows. So, but if by show 2 I start to evolve, I can't make those changes until after round 1's over.
Right.
Because I can't. It wouldn't be fair to the other people if I all of a sudden change things on them. So I have to keep it all consistent. Like like with the fan poll, it could have been something that we wanted to change, but we couldn't until we got to round 2. So.
Well, did Ken ask his question?
He said he wanted to.
No.
Go ahead. A roulette wheel.
No, that was just a random suggestion.
Oh, okay.
That would have made a lot of things. No, my serious question is, as much as I love the corny Jake, and you know that I do, I was kind of wondering, and I was especially wondering if you got any feedback from like some of the expert panel judges, just the idea of having the corny Jakes and the hack jokes from the perspective of, why would you want contestants to be good at that? That's something that I don't understand. I mean,
to me,
I play the song analogy in my head of, why would someone tell me something bad to do musically?
Right.
Because generally, if they're not on your show and they're trying to do their stand-up and they do something that qualifies pretty strongly as hack or corny, that's not going to go well for their real life stand-up.
I think
set,
that
right?
gets lost in translation a little bit, and that I'll take the blame on that. But the thought behind that is, when you get said a hack joke, and like I said, I think Trump jokes are hacky. So then or airplane jokes or something, or masturbation jokes, all these kind of hack premises that have been overused from the beginning of time almost. Like, I've been on a flight, man, that airplane food's so bad, or whatever, They give you a bag of peanuts that's this big, and, all that kind of stuff. So to me, when you get a hack premise, you go off the hack premise and you're kind of making fun of, it's almost like sarcasm. It's mocking that, not trying to actually be a hack. It's mocking the hacks. So, and then the other hack classic joke is something like, hey, I just flew in from Toronto. Boy, my arm's tired. And then you kind of roll your eyes or something like that. And then, so that was the thought behind it. Now, like I said, the show is evolving, developing. When we move forward into season 2, right now, we might change if we even use the wheel, we might change the topics for the championship round. But moving forward, we're definitely going to make adjustments, because there's also, like, we have corny, then we have hack, we have this and we have that. They're all kind of in the same wheelhouse. So, but I think if you also look at guys like Andrew Plajanos, who took corny joke and literally made jokes about corn, that was
awesome.
That's kind of what we were looking for, because you got to be creative. You know what I memean? Same thing with the punchline joke. The punchline doesn't always have to be the obvious. So if it says, boy, if you it's bigger than it looks, to talk about a penis is, to me, is the obvious. So if it's bigger than it looks and you talk about something completely different, where you lead with a joke leads you to believe you're going to say something about a penis, and then you switch it and to a different punchline, that's kind of where the joke is, right? So I think
right.
I think creativity is the key, and everybody wants a shit spoon-fed. So that's the kind of the essence behind it.
That makes sense. I mean, I think if you told the contestants what you just said about, like, the hack jokes, presenting it a different way, then if you only give the contestants that information, whether the judges knew it or whether us in the audience knew it, it wouldn't matter. The contestants would know to try and do something new and creative and an unexpected twist or spin or something on something that is hack or corny.
Right. I mean, like, even if you look at knock-knock jokes, I mean, the basis of a knock-knock joke is relatively corny, or you know what I mean? Like,
right.
But in our last episode, I was pleasantly surprised to see there was no corny Jake. I don't think so. I think there was knock-knock jokes, observational jokes were landed on. What are the ones? I don't believe...
Yeah, the observational jokes, I think, are probably more what Ken's talking about that they'll be doing on stage. I think that, like, maybe Ken's saying have, like, 6 choices instead of a whole bunch that are more what they're doing, but...
Yeah, like I said, we're gonna mix them up. and this is great.
I think your answer answered it, so that basically just to know that if you're doing a hack joke or a corny joke, you still got to bring your own creativity to it and make it your own, make it special.
Right. I think, yeah. And again,
was it Andy Blajanos who made the corny joke into a corn joke? That would be a perfect example. That he made it a little bit more interesting and had a little twist on it.
Let me just quickly chime in. Right. To whoever's calling in right now, just be patient since we're talking to Ken on the phone. So just be patient, or if you want to call back when Ken's done. But we're talking to Ken right now, so be patient. Thank you. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll take all calls. Hey, is that the
Bosey?
Hey, come on.
We're being.
Wow, look at him in his work outfit.
Wow.
Hey,
Jeff Bosey is here, everybody. A contestant on the show who was great. And a great guy, great human being, great for the Long Island comedy scene and everything. How you doing?
Thank you. I wanted to come official.
Yeah, wow, look at you. I said How you doing, man? Good to see you, brother.
All right, so Ken, while we got you, before we get to Jeff, you want to do the ads?
Oh, sure. Jeff Bosey, please.
Hey, but Ken, I do want to say thank you for the call and the insight, because that does mean a lot and go far. If I'm not trying to be defensive if I'm coming across that way. I'm just trying to explain where I'm coming from, but I am definitely making adjustments. Season 2, we're going to do a lot of things. Like I said, we're going to talk with me and Benny getting together. We're going to kind of tweak a lot of things. So these are great. Keep it coming, everybody.
It totally made sense. I also put in the comments, I thought it was awesome that the little bit of roasting each other in the finals. I think that's a great thing for the final round, too.
Oh, thank you.
I can stop talking about that right now. I appreciate the opportunity to talk through it with y'all, but Tony, if you're ready for me to fire up the ads, I will hit them.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Knockem Dead comedy radio show is brought to you by Bella Vista Pizza. Bella Vista Pizza for the best pizza in the whole wide world. Check out Bella Vista Pizza, where they offer thin crust, thin whole wheat, deep dish, and gluten-free pies. Also, pasta and baked dishes, calzones and rolls, heroes, entrees, salads, sides, and appetizers. Bella Vista, that's Italian, folks. It's a beautiful view, a beautiful sight. I certainly hope somebody out there in radio and podcast land got themselves a heart-shaped Bella Vista pizza for Valentine's Day, because it just looked amazing. Bella Vista Pizza is located at 154 Minetta Hill Road in Plainview. That's 154 Minetta Hill Road in Plainview. 516-433-4464. That's 516-433-4464. BellaVistaPizza.com. Bambinos, check them out today. Also, follow them on Facebook at Bella Vista Pizza and Pasta, or on Instagram at Bella Vista Pizza LI. The Knockem Dead comedy radio show is also brought to you by Gina Conjemi Coffin, licensed real estate agent with Signature Premier Properties. That's Gina Conjemi Coffin, licensed real estate agent with Signature Premier Properties. 631-495-7696. That's 631-495-7696. When you work with Gina, you tap into the collective experience of the best, most experienced realtors on Long Island. Contact Gina today to discuss how Signature Premier Properties and Gina can help you market and sell your property successfully or find your perfect home. More information about Gina's listings can be found at signaturepremier.com. That's signaturepremier.com. List your house with Gina, and she will work so hard for you and sell your house so fast that it will make your
head spin.
Head spin. We even got a slight head spin from Mrs. Pichelle in the other room. That was pretty sweet right there.
Nice.
And, of course, the Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show is brought to you by Knockem Dead Comedy. Knockem Dead Comedy for the funniest murder mysteries in the whole wide world, where I offer you the perpetual disclaimer that these are merely by design comedic murder mysteries. 100% real comedy, 100% real mystery, 100% comedic murder. No humans or animals are harmed in the making of any of these, yada, yada, anyway. Do you want to see a boring murder mystery where some crusty old pee pants says, "There's been murder in the parking lot of some character you've never met"?
No.
No, of goodness, no. Of course you don't. All right, let's go Spanish today. Really? Eso es un guano loco. Guano loco. That's right, bat dropping's crazy, but guano loco rhymes and is more fun to say. You do not want to see that kind of a boring murder mystery. That's just ridiculous. If you did, you could go see the other guys. You don't want that. You want the full experience. You want to meet and hang out with the character who's ultimately and soon going to comedically die. That pleasant experience of the comedic loss of a new friend. You want to see that comedic murder happen right before your eyes. You want to laugh, sing, dance, and be a part of the action at a Knockem Dead Comedy murder mystery show. On Instagram, follow at Knockem Dead Comedy. That's at Knockem Dead Comedy on Instagram for upcoming show dates. Check out knockemdeadcomedy.com/show dates. That's knockemdeadcomedy.com/show dates. I noticed that I never mentioned Facebook because if you can't find Knockem Dead Comedy on Facebook, Adman doesn't know if he can help you there. So there's that. Don, Sallie, Tony, back to you.
Well, thank you, Dr. Pichelle. Ken Pichelle with the Edge. Thank you, pal. You can go to knockemdeadcomedy.com if you'd like to see our full schedule, information on who we are, what we do, of course, booking information. There's photos, videos, testimonials, all sorts of good stuff there. Make sure you get on our mailing list so you can keep tabs on what's happening in Knockem Dead Comedy world, such as the following dates. March 6th. We are at the Knights Columbus in Lynbrook, where we're doing a fundraiser for a local PTA. March 22nd and 28th will be at the Mount Sinai Moose Lodge. March 22nd is for the Family Autism Network fundraiser. And don't forget, May 14th, our return to 317 Main in Farmingdale. Very excited about that. Those are our murder mystery dates. There are other dates as well. And there's also game show dates as well, where usually it's Eric, but sometimes it's one of us, hosting a fun afternoon of trivia and fun party games. Go to knockemdeadcomedy.com for all your information there. Excuse me. And speaking of great comedy shows, don't forget Governor's Comedy Clubs, 3 great comedy clubs on Long Island. The best comedy clubs on Long Island. Let's see what's going on this week at Governor's in Levittown. Thursday is an all-star comedy show. Friday and Saturday is Joe Matarisi. Saturday, let's see. So Joe Matarisi's there Saturday. Oh, Saturday afternoon, Ingo Rademacher from General Hospital will be here. Ooh. And Sunday is Sunday Night Funnies. In the Little Room at Governor's in Levittown, this Saturday, Mike Keegan and Friends with Carla and a whole bunch of great comedians. Mike Keegan and Friends. On Sunday is an open mic workshop. Ooh. At the Brokerage in Belmore this weekend, Christian Finnegan is there Friday and Saturday. But also on Friday is an open mic. Lots of open mic stuff going on here at Governor's this week. McGuire's in Bohemia out east. Thursday night, the All-Star Comedy Show. Why don't I have... no, that's incorrect. Oh, guess what? The All-Star Comedy Show Thursday and Friday. But guess who's there on Saturday? Who? Joey Cola is there on Saturday. The one and only Joey Cola. He's only doing the early show. That's on Saturday. Go to govs.com, govs.com for the full schedule, ticket information, everything you need to know right there. And don't forget to go join their mailing list because you get exclusive announcements there. You get sometimes you get access to tickets before the public. And they almost always send out codes so you can get free admission to their clubs. And that alone is worth getting on their mailing list for. So go to govs.com. And speaking of Govs, don't forget govsradio.com, everybody. Govsradio.com. Don't forget, we are currently booking shows. We're looking for advertisers. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on govsradio.com. We're on the Boxcast app on your smart TVs and your Rokus and your Apple TVs and your Fire Sticks. Just go to the Boxcast app and you can find Govs Radio. We also have an Amazon app, so you can go on Amazon and find us there as well. And we're always planning other things to improve our exposure, to bring higher level quality stuff here. Don't forget the swag right there in front of Jeff. You got your mugs, your T-shirts, hats, underwear, socks with the Govs Radio logo, and you get your favorite Govs. You get your favorite Govs Radio show on the back. Teespring, teespring.com.
Just don't type it all at once.
What's that?
Just don't type it all at once.
That's right. That's right.
Was it a porn site?
Well, no, when we put it on here, we seem to get in trouble with Facebook. So.
Oh, gotcha.
So, we appreciate all the support for Govs Radio. What's today? Monday. So tonight, Jam returns. Jam returns tonight at 8 o'clock, right? No Steve tonight, right?
No.
Jan tonight at 8 o'clock. Special guest, if you're familiar with the Long Island music scene, you know the name Ed Ryan. He's been on the Long Island music scene for many, many years now. He actually has done some stand-up as well. He's performed at Governors through the years. So he is Joe's special guest tonight. And who's filling for you? MJ?
MJ.
MJ will be here holding down the fort in Sally's absence. So that'll be cool. Check out MJ with Joe tonight. That's Monday. Tomorrow is Tuesday. So you got us at 11 a.m. You got comedians on hockey at 6:30, I think. You got Anthony Rodia at 8 o'clock. And, of course, Two Girls, One Mic at immediately following Anthony. Speaking of Eric, I'm just going to take this opportunity to wish him well. He had a death in his family. That's why he's not here today. So all the best to Eric. We're really not sure what his schedule is going to be this week, so I'm not really sure if hockey's even going to be on tomorrow. But we'll keep you updated as we know more. Eric didn't know the details yet as far as services and stuff like that. So I just like to wish him and his friends and family all the best during this difficult time. And thank you once again, Ken Pichelle, for a super job on the Edge and the great questions and all the support. That's why you're a top fan, Dr.
We love you,
Pichelle.
Ken Pichelle. Thank you, buddy. And
Thank y'all very much. Hey, Don.
Yes.
With the new Boxcast stuff,
Yes.
are you on TV?
I'm on TV.
When you said
I need to hear that. I need to hear that.
There you go. I'm on TV. Yes, watch us on Boxcast on Roku, man. You can tune in right now. It airs live. And then you can also watch pre-tape stuff as well. So it's good times.
And we have other things that we're working on in the studio. There's always something happening here. So keep it locked at govsradio.com.
But I do want to say to Ken and to everyone in regards to the wheel that Jeff Bosey
Yes.
That's kind of his. What you do.
Yes.
Explain to everybody what you do.
Well, I am a licensed technician of weights and balances, so I did take a moment to go ahead and check out Don's wheel of jokes.
He checked the wheel,
and I checked it out, and it is actually perfectly balanced, and it will land on any random unit that is placed on that wheel. So it is good to go. There's no faults within that wheel, and I'm going to say use it as many times as you can until next year's inspection.
Thank you for the inspection of the wheel,
Yeah. Well,
Jeff Bosey.
Gina Conjemi-Coffin said there's actually a wheel app.
Oh, really?
You could spin a wheel like that, and then you could always
we could try the wheel app as well. Yeah.
But do you really trust electronics? Come on, let's go analog.
I'm trying to just be current, and because it's all about technology.
You're taking a job away from me.
That's right.
Once again, computers and robots.
Exactly.
You know what? I won't. I'll take it back then. I take it back. So I'm one of those guys that refuses at the supermarket. I do not use the
I hate those
checkouts.
People get paid for a reason. Why
That's
do I
right.
do their job?
There
Even
you
at
go.
McDonald's and Wendy's, like they're trying to install
Well, let's
those
not push
there.
it. Let's not push it. Let's not push it.
You prefer, if you write no ketchup, you're not going to get ketchup. The kids are there, they don't care. But yeah,
No, it's
to your knowledge, our wheel has been inspected, professionally inspected.
It is ready for use at any given time, unless Benny drops it.
Now you've done the
Which is
wheel
a
of
good
jokes,
possibility.
right?
Yes,
it's all
I have.
tangled in the car.
When you did the wheel of jokes,
Yes.
how did you prepare for it? Like, was it tricky to you, or because look, a lot of people have strong opinions about the wheel, and I appreciate that.
Okay. As far as the wheel of jokes go, it's kind of like premise pressure.
Right.
It really is. You got to be prepared at any point to go in your library of entertainment and knowledge of funny things, and be prepared to throw it out. You gave it a good example, like where Jackie went ahead and he was able to come up with something in 30 seconds.
Right.
That's what Sallie said earlier.
Yeah.
So it shows the person's talent to come up with something very funny and being able to entertain. So I'm all for it. I think it's a great segment.
Thank you.
Forgive me again because I was late. I was doing something else. But in case you haven't said it, you probably have. But I'm going to say it again. It's just entertainment.
Thank you.
That's it.
It's a fun show.
Done. That's it.
It's a fun show, and it's a game show. So there's games.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Now, I think the games are great. I think it helps. They're really good exercises for comedians. Are you building a set that you're going to use during your episode? I don't.
Well, I answered you. It's like,
Yeah.
Jeff, when you came to me, you said, "So, Jeff, are you going to be using any of these on stage next?" I was like, No. But I did take away one for when I was, I think, round 2.
That's the one you lost to.
Yeah, thank you.
Taking a little.
Thank you, Tony. Yes, yes.
Rich Rada is flowing through me.
Yes, yes.
I want to get Rich Rada on the show. I want Rich Rada to be a contestant.
I think there should just be a one-off show
Rada,
where it's an hour roast, Bosie versus Rada.
What I want to do is get it to the point where comedians can call out other comedians.
Yes.
Yeah. But I would love to see Rich Rada on the show. I think he can really go pretty deep in this thing in season 2. So Rich Rada, so Rich Rada, if you're watching and want to go deep
with Jeff.
Oh yeah,
Jeff.
baby.
Come on the show. Drop me a line and we'll set it up. But I think you'd be a great contestant on the show, and I would love to see you in action because he's fast. He's very fast.
Rich is really great off stage, and that's the reason why he's never on stage.
And so it begins.
Boom!
I had to.
Yes, you definitely had to.
Because I was about to say, I was like, there's a lot of salt in here for my wounds. But back, Rich is terrific. I love Rich. Me and him are really good friends. But back to where you were on the, where I lost on round 2. But like I said, there was one joke that I was, because what I did was, when I did the premise pressure and I had to write all the jokes, there was actually one that I liked, that I wrote, and I actually am now incorporating it into my
nice.
set.
Oh,
so
yeah, that's nice.
So thank you for the 15 seconds. Yeah. My wife said the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
So, but no, like I said, your show is solely for entertainment purposes.
Yeah, it's
fun. It's a great way for you have to stop looking at it from where's the grand prize? When do I win? You have to look at it also at this angle of like, listen, that was just exposure.
Right.
You just got exposure at Gov's on Gov's radio, at the club. Other people are watching you. I mean, I think I'm gonna toot my own horn here and say that I guess as far as when you had the poll, me and Bonnie had the highest polls out of.
Yeah, you have like 500 something people voting.
Do you know how many homeless people I had to buy phones for to have them vote for me?
Lots of people have a high poll for Bonnie.
Yeah, yes, they do. And then if you go ahead and if you get the Roku and you stream us, you can get 60 inches of Don.
That's right.
Let me just chime in again. A lot of people talking about calling in. Yes. Give us about maybe five more minutes. Benny wants to call in. D-Love wants to call in. Bonnie wants to call in.
Yes.
Give us about 5 more minutes. We'll open the phone lines back up. We just want to give Jeff a little time since he was nice enough to stop in.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
But like I said, being a contestant on your show and doing it, it was amazing for me because it helped me. I'm going to sit there and say, wow. I'm in this, like I said, how everyone's 6 months, a year. I'm going to be honest. I'm out at 2 years.
Right.
Which is still not a lot of time. I was saying earlier today, a lot of the seasoned comics are like, first 5 years are really difficult.
That's where you find your voice, they say, in the first five.
Listen, I mean, you can have some people that are, they're just born with it. They could be just born with it, and they have the knack to come up with material and to come up with really great ideas. Other people to struggle. And then like what most people say, or maybe the instructors at some of the comedy classes here say, it's one thing to be funny in front of your friends.
Right.
It's another to go ahead and inflect that funny in front of complete strangers in a room. You got to make complete strangers laugh.
Right, yeah.
So it can't just be a knock-knock joke or, something dirty.
So personal that they won't get. It has to be like something that they can relate to.
Absolutely, Sallie. You hit the nail right on the head. But as far as, like I said, it's great exposure. It's a lot of fun. And I enjoyed, being here twice on your show.
Yeah,
and,
man.
It's really an awesome thing that you got going on here. I mean,
Thanks.
not only you're throwing on entertainment for everybody out there, but then also you're giving comics a chance to not only go ahead and have a light at the end of a tunnel to get on the main stage, that was one, but then secondly to go ahead and see where they're at and where they got to improve on their material.
Right, because the critiques from the judges, I think, could be really beneficial too. Because whether people agree with, like, if I'm the contestant and whether I agree with the judge's opinion or not.
Yes.
It's still like just like with Ken giving me a critique on the wheel.
Right.
You take it in no matter what, and you're like, maybe there is something to what they're saying. Maybe I am doing it going left when I should be going right, and that's it. And then you could take it or leave it. But I think most people would adjust, even if they don't want to adjust, they're kind of subconsciously adjusting their act. But when they hear critiques,
well, I mean, like for instance, that show where I had Frank on as a judge for me,
right,
another nice guy. He came at me and he told me, he's like, I know that we were, because he took this stand-up university class, and he's like, I know you're used to doing topic, premise, punch,
right,
as far as your mindset. But he said, you need to move away from it. And I will say that about 2 weeks ago, someone else that's a seasoned comic, actually 2 seasoned comics came up to me about 2 weeks ago and said, like, okay, well, now you can start moving away from it and, like, expand and, broaden it and make it, a little bit more. You can walk away from the safety zone now.
Right.
You've gotten to the point where you can walk away from the safety zone.
Right.
So, I mean, for him to say that was, it stuck in my mind, and it was a critique, and it's valuable lessons from seasoned comics that are out there, and, it's a learning experience. It's great.
I appreciate that. I'll give you the money for saying all these nice things later. But
well, I already upcharged you on the calibration.
Yeah. Are you sticking around?
Yes, I'll stick
around.
around.
All right, because Bonnie's saying that she doesn't have a lot of time.
Okay.
She has to go soon.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So we're going to give her a
go ahead,
second
absolutely.
to
all right, Bonnie Scalisi, who performed Saturday night. She was one of the finalists that go up against Kristen Tinsley in our battle for the championship round, who will take on Mandy Jones. So Bonnie was with us since day one. She was on our debut show on November 2nd.
Yes.
Well, she's a part of the family here. She's on Wednesday nights.
She has her show
Three's
on Three's Company with
been
Mandy
on,
Jones.
Right. She's been on almost all the shows on the station. Yeah, that's Bonnie now.
All right.
Hi, Bonnie.
Hi, how are you?
Doing all right. How are you?
Hey, Bonnie.
Hi.
What's up, Bonnie? How you doing?
I hear Don talking in the background, so I don't know.
I'm right here. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear Don talking in the background.
Well, what you're watching
Maybe
is on the
turn
delay.
my phone down?
Yeah, you're watching the delay. What, a couple minutes delay?
Yeah, it's like what you're watching is like 2 minutes behind. So right now, nobody's talking.
Maybe I should shut your show so I don't hear it.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey.
All right, let me shut the show.
All right. We have Jeff Bosey here
I'll
too.
shut the show, so I'll talk over it.
Yes.
Yeah. Again, nobody's talking now. That's it's all on a delay, so you're fine.
Okay. I have a lot of issues with the show. I don't mind losing. I think Kristen's a person. I'm glad she won.
Right.
But there were a couple of things that happened that made me very angry, and Don was already told about it through Messenger, and I don't like the fact that everyone used the internet for jokes. Not on the beginning with the 24-hour one, not on your stand-up, but in the wheel and the premise. We were told, yes, you're allowed to use the internet for jokes. It's fine. And then all of a sudden, these two judges that got up that didn't like me to begin with, because and this guy told me at the end, just the fact that I do a podcast with so-and-so, she has no influence over me. Bullshit. If you watch the rounds, he low scored me so bad for everything, including my stand-up. And I just thought the whole thing was a railroaded bullshit. And it was humiliation. I took it off my page because I just was disgusted by the whole thing.
Right.
And it takes a lot to make me mad. But by the second round, when that douche gave me a 4, I knew there's no chance that I'm going to win. He wants me to lose.
Now,
then the other guy, who Don knows the other reasons why the other guy doesn't like me, which I won't say on air, he low scored me. And the advice that they gave me, Sallie was the only one that was fair. And she even said, I don't think it's right that, all of a sudden you're saying that they can't use the internet when, everybody else has been doing it. And then they're like, oh, no, you should be able to come up with this on the fly and blah, blah, blah.
Were you watching the show earlier?
The whole contest changed right in the middle of it.
It didn't
if
change.
He had told me you're not allowed to use the internet for jokes, I wouldn't have used it.
All right, listen.
So it made me look like I was a liar. It humiliated me.
No, Bonnie, nobody thinks you lied about anything, Bonnie.
No.
Yeah, they basically said you use the internet for jokes like I knew like I wasn't supposed to do that. Meanwhile, if I wasn't allowed to do that, I'm a rule player. I would have listened and not used the internet.
Did you listen
for
to
jokes.
the earlier show
I didn't
today?
use them for all my jokes. I was just unlucky enough to land on certain ones that I did use them on.
Bonnie,
but
can you listen for a second?
Bonnie?
Is she there now?
Bonnie, you there?
Yeah, she's just working with her kids a little bit. They're like leaving soon.
Okay. Don had a statement earlier in the show here on Knockem Dead in regards to the rules of the internet. There are no rules. There were no.
So then, how come they scored me low?
Because that's the judge's prerogative. The judges have opinions. I can't control the judge's opinions. If you get called out on anything, that's on the judge. Every judge has. So if the judges think, look,
Don, let me ask you something.
Any judge, you ask anybody, Bonnie, let me talk. You ask anybody in stand-up comedy about stealing jokes or taking jokes or any joke. It's kind of a taboo. Now, is it a rule that I have? No, and I made it clear it's not a rule.
But this is a contest.
Right.
And if you had told me that was a rule, I would.
It's not a rule. So it's not a rule. There's no rule whatsoever. Never. You could steal as many jokes as you want. You can go on the internet as long as you want. That doesn't concern me. If you come up with the jokes and you have jokes for the wheel or jokes for the premise or however you get your jokes from, whether you're working with someone, whether you're taking it from the internet verbatim, however you do it is fine. But if the judge that calls you out on that and has a conversation with you about that, then that's between the judge's score and you. And that's their prerogative. I can't sit there and tell the judge, no, they're allowed to steal jokes, so you score them higher. I can't do that either.
But you brought up another good point also earlier when I believe it was Jeffrey Kurian.
Yeah.
When Dana McAllister was on, and Jeffrey Kurian was here, and he's a well-known writer.
He's a writer, comedy legend.
He laced it into Dana that day, saying, "What are you doing here?"
Because Dana didn't do any preparation at all. I worked for almost 3 weeks getting ready for this.
But but like I said, once again, it was an example. It's an example of where the judges.
I really don't care that I didn't win. I just thought it was one of the judges is connected to somebody who hates my guts, and it's funny how Don told me who the judges were ahead of time for every round except this one.
Because nobody confirmed until. Do you think I have a conspiracy against you, Bonnie? Do you think I deliberately wanted to throw you under the bus?
No, I don't think you deliberately wanted to throw me under the bus. But if you had told me, oh, it's so-and-so who does a podcast with so-and-so and so-and-so, I would have said to you ahead of time, I don't think that's fair.
Well, you can't choose the judges.
The thing is, he didn't know.
He came across. Believe me, I got messengers from people that said, "What's wrong with that guy? It seems like he hates you."
But
he was like that to.
There's no way to call in advance who's going to win what round. So when he books the judges, he books certain dates. Like Jackie's been booked for like a month or two. There's no way of knowing in advance who's going to be there. Who the contestants will be that day.
Yeah, but I could have said, "Well, you know what? I think I don't want to participate."
All right.
Rather than be
listen,
humiliated.
Bonnie,
I felt like I was humiliated on that show.
Listen, Bonnie, I'll give. Listen,
I looked at what Kristen did. I looked at what I did, and then
listen.
Each time I was scored low, low, low. I knew by the second round I was finished. And then when you get to my stand-up, I paid professional people. Oh yes, I use money because I worked hard all my life. I don't travel anywhere. So I have money to spend on professional people to help me write some of my material, which is allowed.
Sure,
so
of course.
Joe DeVito has helped me. Paul Bond has helped me. So basically, they ripped my whole routine apart and said I should talk about autism. So that really put the icing
Did you
on
not
the
have a
cake.
great?
I was like,
Bonnie,
I'm going to take this advice and be like so happy with it.
Bonnie, do you not have a really good joke that you wrote yourself about autism in your act?
I didn't write that joke. My ex-douche boyfriend wrote that joke. Who is a comic.
All right, but it's a good joke, and
of course, that's the only one they liked. That's the only one that they thought was funny. Was the one of the douchebag who dumped me and humiliated me too.
Well,
but they don't know that. And the
Oh, believe me, I'm sure they know it. Not the one sitting next to Sallie, but
right.
the other one knew it.
well, all right, but that's
talking about
that's still whether he did or not. It's not like anybody. Let's just play devil's advocate. Let's just say he did, which I personally don't think he did. Sorry to disagree, but even if he did, it's not like he conspired with anybody else here. If one judge judged you a certain way, that's on the judge. It's
Right.
It's not a reflection of Don.
This is the same judge who also basically heckled Kristen during her set.
Right.
And
It seemed like he was tough. It seemed to me like he was tough on
tough
everybody.
on
He was even
everyone.
tough on Sallie
Yeah,
at
he
one
heckled
point.
So he actually said it's a bad day for comedy today.
Yeah, he said this is a bad day for comedy. But here's the
I
thing. Hold on,
no,
Bonnie. Bonnie.
Wait, he said this is a bad day for comedy about me.
No, he said it
No.
was both of you. We
Nope.
all watched the show. We were all
No.
there.
Listen, I will say this. I know of Tim, and I've
okay. So
Wait,
you
listen,
think
wait, listen,
on
wait,
that
listen.
show,
Well,
hold on.
well-
If you think on that show Kim did 10 points better than me on every single round put together, if she had won by like a point, maybe I wouldn't be this. But she creamed me by 10 points.
I know
That's
wait, hold on, wait, Bonnie. I know the feeling.
You remember,
This is your fault for not beating
Yeah.
Bonnie the last time.
Actually, we brought Jeff on to yell at you, Bonnie.
Bonnie, I know the feeling, if anything. But let me listen.
I said to you that was the poll that Jeff
No,
won
I know.
fair
And
square.
listen to me. Let me tell you this,
Kristen
Bonnie.
beat me. Go back and watch
Hey,
the whole
Bonnie.
fucking show.
Bonnie, you have to listen just a little bit, okay?
Okay. As far as, like I said, I've worked with Tim in the past, and he is brutal on and off stage. He has zero filter. He is all or nothing, and he gives his brutal, honest opinion about any critique or anything that you do. I did a spot.
But Kristen did better than me in those rounds.
Listen, let me tell you
Go
this.
watch-
I did a
go watch
spot.
back.
I did a spot, and I came back from off stage, and he came to me and he looked at me and he said, is there really a problem? Did you actually think before you went up there to say any of that stuff you did?
Wow.
And I was like, my only retort was, well, I was kind of afraid that, you might pounce me if I was funnier than you. And then he's like, okay, good. Now you can go have a Jack and Coke. But he's very
response.
brutal. He's
All
very
right,
brutal.
but he should be equally brutal to Kristen.
Bonnie, let me
Okay,
say something.
I lost
Bonnie,
by 10
Bonnie,
points.
sometimes you
10
gotta look.
points.
Sometimes in situations you're gonna go up on stage against crowds that might not be on your side right away, and you got to win them over. Now, I don't know all your beefs. The more I find out about you, the more enemies I learn that you have. That you hate a lot of people. I don't know. I can't keep track of everyone. I can't keep track of everyone you don't like. So
No.
my problem is when I
don't hate
book,
a lot of people.
when I book
there's
a
only
show.
about 6 people that I hate.
Well, look, there's also
And
something
you-
called losing with dignity too, which you're not doing. You're coming on here, you're telling me you took my show off. You're not going to watch the show anymore. You're bad-mouthing me, bad-mouthing all these comedians that came on the show.
I don't know, Don.
and it's
I'm
not
doing
right.
that now.
It's not
I'm
right.
doing
Look,
that now on
a lot
the
of
air.
people have
But
lost.
I did that to you privately.
Well, I'm
Our
telling
ratings are going to go through a roof today.
you have to lose with dignity, even if you don't agree with it. And yes, we've had private conversation, and
Right,
we
this
could have
is the
kept
only
it private. But
public
you
thing that I
decided to
said.
come
This
on
is the only
here,
public thing that I
yell and
said.
scream, and go off on the person who won. That you're basically saying she didn't deserve to win. That you lost because these people don't like you, and it's a conspiracy that I deliberately didn't tell you about the judges. I'm keeping secrets. All these crazy accusations. I don't appreciate it one bit. I'm kind of disappointed in you. I like you as a person. I like your show. I like everything you do. I'm a big fan of yours. But to be honest, you're disappointed me, and I'm very upset that this behavior. If this was one of your kindergarten students or one of my kids acting this way, I would be so disappointed in them. It wouldn't even be funny. To me, the way you're acting is a disgrace, and I'm disgusted with that behavior.
Well, that's, you know what? I have my emotions. I felt like if I had lost by 1 or 2 points or it was close after looking at that, because I thought that in every round that I clearly did better than Kristen.
Well, listen, you
And
can believe
to
that,
lose
and that's
by 10
fine.
points.
But don't accuse me of conspiracy that me and the judges all
I
have it
didn't-
out for you, and
it
I'm
wasn't
trying to embarrass you. I'm trying to uplift every single
Don,
comedian that comes on the show.
I didn't say you were trying to embarrass me.
I
just
never try to
said
embarrass you.
that you picked you picked a judge who's connected with somebody. Everybody knows that we have a beef.
So here's the thing.
I had
Hey,
no idea.
Hey, Bonnie, can I say something? Tim just wrote in, the judge that we're all talking about, and he said, I will say it again. Nobody tells me how to feel about people, meaning, he wasn't going against you because he likes other people. He said, I always give people a fair shake. I'm sorry you feel differently, but that's not who I am. Also, I gave you a higher score the first round.
Bonnie, you did great. You always do great.
I love you, Bonnie.
You're great. And it's unfortunately it went the way it did in your case. But Kristen's great too. And somebody's got to lose. It's not a reflection of you. It's not.
It's not a conspiracy.
It doesn't matter. It's entertainment. Everybody's been doing great here. Everybody loves you, and it's really that simple.
Well, listen. The one thing that what we need to learn to take away from this, okay, is we need to, whether we win or lose, we need to lick our wounds and walk away. We need to be back. I have to bring back to where I usually am very hardcore, is about supporting your fellow comic. It can't be, claws deep at the next person. But wait, let me finish. Wait, Bonnie, I love you. Bonnie, I love you. Let me finish.
We all love you, Bonnie.
But what I wanted to say was, can I tell you something? Whether it was as these shows went on, it got so much harder for me to see, because I was sitting there going, like, great. I mean, I even made the comment to you a while back. Oh my God, would it be a sight to see Bonnie and Mandy at the end? What are you going to do? These are two hosts of a show here at Govs. What are they going to do? Like, I mean, wait, one with pepper spray, the other one with the battle axe? My whole thing is we need to be supportive, and I'm so happy that Kristen won. And if Mandy wins, I'm going to be so happy if Mandy wins, because you want to know what? We finally, look at it this way. Instead of us sitting here,
it's not about winning. I don't.
It is. Well, for me, it is.
I don't even care if I lost. It's just that to say, if you watched that show and you watched each round, especially the knock round, where she fucked up on 3 out of 4. I fucked up on 1 out of 4, and she still won the round. And I lost by 10 points, not 1 point or 2 points, like to say like I came closer, but that she slaughtered me. That's bullshit.
I wouldn't say 10 points is a slaughter.
Now, if it was like 80 to 1.
All the shows, it's been like everybody's been within a point of each other.
Excuse me.
2 points of
Excuse
each
me.
other.
Excuse me. Once again, I will chime in, Miss Scalisi. Listen. Do you know how many times I've gone ahead at night and I sat there and I thought about that dreadful evening, and I didn't even get a T-shirt. I didn't even get a T-shirt out of it, Don. I didn't even get a T-shirt out of it. Everybody's walked out with a T-shirt.
Jeff, you have my T-shirt.
Well, listen, Bonnie, if I go into your T-shirt, I'm going to get arrested because I'm a little fat in the ass.
Please tell me you didn't burn the T-shirt yet, Bonnie. Please don't burn the shirt.
Just give it to Jeff.
Yeah, so I can go outside and
look, Bonnie, you were
10 points is like saying
that's
fuck
one,
you.
No.
10 points is like saying fuck you.
No, it's
and they
not.
Did.
Bonnie.
They didn't want me on that. Carla does not want me on that stage, and
Carla was even here.
Carla has nothing to do with it.
But you don't think she had a conversation with that guy before?
No, Tim just commented a minute
listen,
ago.
They all have separate lives. They don't sit and hang out and have brunch.
I saw
Tim told me right to my face that Carla wouldn't sway him.
I saw
and
Tim,
I pretended like I believed him. I don't believe him.
Well,
I don't believe him.
Listen, Bonnie, I just want you to know that you were a big part of the show. You were on our debut show. You came on. You made it to the final round.
Right, and there were no rules about using the internet.
There are no rules. You're right. There's no rules. There's never going to be a rule.
So this guy jumped on that. The other guy
they jumped on it
like me
as
for
integrity.
Reasons.
It's just like, let's say you did a joke, an off-color joke that they didn't agree with. They would then say, "Why did you talk about that off-color?" Look, it
became an issue with that guy.
Here's the thing, Bonnie. I'm telling you from my standpoint as the host creator of the show, there's no conspiracy against you. I actually love you. I like you a lot. I root for you. I want you to be great. I want you to shine. So, based off of that, when you start saying there's a conspiracy, I take offense to it.
For me, was give me low self-confidence and make me feel like that even though I worked for 2 years on my 5 minutes, I still didn't even do. Kristen usually is great with her 5 minutes. She fumbled, and I still didn't get a higher score than her in that. So all they did for me was make me have more self-doubt, more thing that maybe I shouldn't be doing this at all.
Absolutely
so
not.
If that's what they wanted to accomplish,
No.
that's what they
Bonnie,
accomplished.
I'm sorry that was the outcome. I really don't think anybody here had that intention, and we're telling you now we love you, and we hope that's not the case. We hope you keep going, and we're all very supportive of you. You know, you have a show here that we all love. We support you. We don't want you to give it up, and I'm sorry that it went that you feel that way, that's what you took out of that show. And
That show took my confidence from where it was down to the gutter.
Okay, Bonnie,
so
let me give you.
For that,
Bonnie, let me. Bonnie, let me. Bonnie,
I'm not
once
even
again.
going to listen to the rest of it because I know you're going to talk about.
No,
like
Bonnie,
that.
I am going to say this.
We're not,
I
Bonnie.
have temper when people do shit to me.
Bonnie, I
That's
will.
when my temper gets hot. Treat me fair, and I'm okay.
Bonnie,
I
I will.
was not treated fairly.
Bonnie, this is like talking. This is like talking to any woman I've ever talked to in my life. Bonnie, listen. Let me tell you this. Instead of
I'm not the only one that thinks so. People are messaging me saying, "What a shit show that
okay,
was."
but Bonnie, you're not listening to me. Can I ever? You know,
I didn't even care
I'm going to
if I
give you.
lost, but I
I'm going to
lost
give
by
you a
10
huge,
points.
gigantic
10
hug.
points.
But
she
Bonnie,
did worse
take
in
this
every
energy.
area,
Take this
and
energy.
She won by 10 points.
Bonnie, I'm going to start using Morse code. Bonnie, I want you to take this energy because, like I said, I didn't move on. I didn't get to the final round. But I want you to know this.
I
Take
wish
the.
I hadn't gone to the
Thank you.
final round. I wish you had won that day.
But listen to me.
There was no poll, and I wouldn't have never met that.
But then you would have
Okay.
hated Jeff Bosie.
Yeah, I know you would. You probably could have hated me.
Insulted
But
me
Yeah.
with his score.
But let me tell you this: take that energy. You're sitting there saying, "I'm gonna be a little coarse with you." You're going ahead and saying like you feel like getting out of this. Okay, I'm going to tell you this: when I started my first year, okay, I actually hit that point in my life where I lost all my self-esteem and I wanted to get out of it. And I was like, "What am I even doing in this?" But you want to know what? Someone came to me, and I'm going to tell you the same thing they told me: stop with the bullshit and use that energy and get better and move forward and get out there. Don't take this moment to go ahead and rubble. You got to go forward, take that energy and make your stuff better. Start writing, start getting out there, fight harder.
99% of all comedians have had this moment. Every comedian ever have had these moments.
Like I said, my first year, I was sitting in my car. Listen, I'm going to tell you this. I drove out to a gig. Okay? And I got turned away, and you know the reasons why. I'm not going to get into that. I got turned away, and I sat in my car about 1.5 miles away from the gig, and I almost burst into tears because I'm sitting there like, what kind of crap is this? Okay? Seriously. And then someone said, what are you doing? What are you, an idiot? Stop that. Get back out there, fight harder, write the material, and get stronger.
Write the material. I had professionals write
It
that
doesn't
fucking
matter. Yeah,
material.
can I tell you something?
I
I've had
spent hours
professionals
on
write
that
my
material.
Bonnie.
I
I've had
spent money on
professionals
that
help me with a couple of
material.
my stuff.
I practiced it.
But-
I delivered it spot on 5 minutes.
And you-
Sallie even said, "Oh, the time is important." Blah blah blah. Kristen fucked that up. She didn't. She didn't.
No, both of
end
yous
on
landed.
5 minutes.
Both of yous were
I
very
did.
Bonnie,
close.
you're now putting Kristen down, Bonnie. We can't do that, Bonnie.
I'm
And I.
not putting Kristen down. I'm not. I love Kristen. I had apologized to Kristen because I was upset because I thought I was really
Yeah, you didn't
unfairly
congratulate her.
judged.
Yeah.
I apologized to her. I congratulated her, but I feel that it was not really a fair contest in that.
All right, and
I
you're
am not
you're
a-
entitled to feel that way. I am going to cut this off because I don't want you getting any more upset. I do know you have to go, so I am going to cut this off. I don't want anybody getting any more upset than this already is. So I am going to cut this off, and I'm sorry it went that way. I'm sorry for cutting you off. But we all think you're great, Bonnie. I'm gonna end it at that. We
I
all
love
think
you.
you're great, and you know nobody wants you to stop doing this. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. I know you have to go somewhere, so I hope it's a great day for you, and I hope this just blows over. All right?
Well, hopefully, I know that Jackie the Joke Man is going to be fair, and that's the only thing I have to say about that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Good enough. Thanks, Bonnie. All right. Okay. All right. There you go.
Wow, that was fun.
I'm sorry. I thought you wanted the opportunity to.
I
to
did.
discuss
I
with her,
did.
so
And it's always nice to to hear such positive remarks.
You breathe for a second.
Yeah.
On this very special episode of Knockem Dead.
I want to know. I want the does she seriously believe that it's conspired? Like I built up the whole thing to do a show where we're gonna make a fool out of this person. Sometimes you gotta say to yourself, all right, are people making me the fool, or am I already a fool? That's what you have to ask yourself sometimes.
Well, all right, and
I'm just saying in general.
No, I hear you.
General rule of thumb.
But we let her go because I don't want to fuel her fire anymore. So let's let her go. We only have 15 minutes left. I know Dennis has been trying to call. I know Benny wanted to call.
We need some D-love in our life.
Gonna-
But
Yes,
let's Benny. Let's talk to Benny.
Well, whoever calls.
Benny was there.
Benny, call in.
Benny knows, and I appreciate.
I mean, I figured we were talking, so I, stopped the phone lines unless.
Oh, no. Put him
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Dennis wants to call. Benny wants to call. No, we only have 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But let's
Wow, it went fast.
let's try not to let's try not to harp on this too much.
This goes a lot faster than your show.
Well, it's slow when you're in the hot seat. Yeah. It's fast when you're on this side of the table.
And I'll address one unless if jump in if you've got something to say because we don't have that much time. But one of the things that if Bonnie does hear the end of this show, there were a lot of thoughtful things that to help her. She seemed to be upset that
she is
people are telling her with what her material. She worked on this set. It's okay.
You're live at the Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show. Who's this?
Hey, I got a problem with this Benny Rizzuti guy. I'm not taking no shit no more. This guy's supposed to write a jokes for me. He give me all kinds of shit.
Go.
And this Donna Sill. Who the hell is a Donna Sill? I know Donna Reed. I don't know no Donna Sill. What the hell is this shit? Jeff Abosi should have won 3 weeks ago.
That's what I'm saying, Gaineria. I mean, Gagoots. I love you.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Benny, how you doing, buddy?
How you doing? I know your show is wrapping up. I'd like to say a few things about what you were talking about since the beginning of the show.
Right.
So there is no rule as far as in the roast battle. Before the Internet, they were known as stock jokes.
Right.
And people did jokes that were like, here's one, when I was born, the doctor slapped my mother.
Right.
Yes.
You could say, all right, you could say that Rodney Dangerfield did that joke, Joan Rivers did that joke. They were known as stock jokes. And
right.
And people used to say, somebody wrote these stock jokes, but we don't know who.
Right.
So then with the Internet, they're all over the place. When I do the roast, I try to write as much original material as I can, but I take stock jokes or joke. And
right.
So,
and there's no rules, and you're not being judged.
There's no rule. Right. And so this past Saturday, I'd like to bring something up. This past Saturday, as you guys know who see the show, I'm in the other room, and I'm listening to what the contestants are saying, and I'm writing stuff.
Right.
So Kristen was talking about dildos, and she was talking about dildos, and this joke popped in my head, and I couldn't think where I heard it before, but I was like, this joke will be perfect because sometimes, I'm not stealing, but this joke will be perfect, and it was a woman had said years ago, she said, I use my dildo so much when I take it out it coughs.
Right.
All right. So I heard. I didn't know. Where,
I like how serious he's being about it too. He's like, "All right, take it." Anyway.
So I didn't know. Anyway, I didn't know. I didn't remember. I was like, did Joan Rivers tell that? Where did I hear that joke? I didn't know, but I used it because I knew it would be perfect for that moment.
Right.
So I used it, and then I realized later on that night or after the show. It was a late comedian friend of mine who passed away a few years ago now, Patty Vitale.
Yes, great comedian.
And some of you may know her. Patty was very awesome. Funny, very creative woman, and so to me, I was like, I want to give her credit now that she wrote it. and she wrote something that was funny and perfect. But I wasn't stealing from her. I was using that joke.
The thing is, with this whole debacle of the internet stuff, is that there is no rule on the show.
Right.
So the contestant or whoever could do it as much as they want. Right, whatever.
Yeah.
But the judge could also call you out on it. It's like, if I could go outside, pull a fire alarm, but then if I get, arrested, then that's the police decide. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could do stuff, but sometimes you have to pay. There's consequence. So if you want to,
and the judge's attitude now is they understand that the show is going to the final where the winner is going to win a paid spot on the big stage.
Right.
So the judging gets a little more crucial.
Right.
Absolutely.
Critical. So, and I think that it's not a matter of if you use internet or stock jokes. It's a matter of can you keep landing on your feet because during these rounds now, you do have to sometimes not rely on material. You have to rely on your comedic style.
Exactly.
You have to rely on that. You have to find your way.
And I don't want this whole thing with Bonnie being a sore loser to take away the fact that we have a big championship round this Saturday with two comedians that deserve to just as much as every other comedian that's been on the show to be there at the top. And it's Mandy Jones versus Kristen Tinsley. It's going to be a great show. We have Jackie Jokeman going to be here. We have Joey Patroni. We should be
Sallie.
Celebrating that instead of this negative sore loser mentality.
You're trying to look for the best of the best.
Right.
Yeah, we're trying to have fun. Yeah, exactly.
Well, while she called up and she was venting, I picked up. I'm the scorekeeper. I'm the guy that keeps the score during every show, and I still have every one of them.
Right.
So I was looking at it, and round one, they both tied in points. Okay.
How they do on the wheel?
They both. They both the first round of
joke writing.
Of the joke writing challenge. Then the second round was it wasn't all she got high points, and the final round, the 5-minute round, Bonnie only lost by 1 point in the final round. If you tally up the score for the final round,
right,
it was only a 1 point difference, and the judge that she was criticizing gave the same score for both Bonnie and Kristen.
Right.
So he gave the same number for both of them for their final, and
she fails to say too, and I'm not going to harp on this too much longer, but she fails to say too that there was the third judge, who is a longtime friend of hers and supporter of her and Gov's radio mate, Sallie. And she fails to say that she had a friend here who's didn't know Kristen before all this, I don't think, but she knew Bonnie. But we would hear about that she had an actual friend. No, but
no.
So,
no.
Well, Sallie's votes don't count. No, I'm joking.
No kidding. I've said that from the beginning.
No. I think you got to take away. You got to take the good from everything. You have to take the good, because I feel that the advice all the judges have given to all of the contestants is good advice.
Yes.
And since I'm going to go in a second, I want to bring up, you were talking about every comic goes through something. I was once in a live comedy contest, okay?
I'm so sorry.
I was in a live comedy contest. The place was packed. There was like 200 people there. The place was packed, and I won in a tie. I tied for first place. And the person who tied with me was this drunken kid who was doing material on that's about like the scrap metal guy and the little girl. The commercial with the little girl knows the scrap. What does she know about scrap metal?
Right.
And stuff. And the guy was up there. He was drunk. He wasn't really funny, but the audience loved him for the fact he somehow had the following that he brought 3/4 of those people were his friends. So I told you there was like 250 people, 200 people. This guy brought like over 100 people came to see him. So that's when I got off and we were announcing winners. A couple of people came up to me and said, "You know, the only reason you have to share this award is because he brought the audience."
Right.
Yeah.
So he didn't win. He didn't win because he was funnier than me or anything. He
won because he brought.
Right, because he
brought or it would have just been me up there with my wife, my cousin, and a couple of friends of mine.
Exactly.
It would have been me and 6 people in the audience. So that's why I had to split. It was a cash prize.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes
So I had to split.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to deal with the cards that are dealt. Sometimes things happen where out of your control. Like.
Yeah.
And
you were talking about.
Will Sharon brought up, and I know like Will was like being funny because he's just the king of one-liners, but it is kind of like a serious thing, and I'm not repeating what Will said to be mean, just to show how like you have to kind of take things sometimes, which is sometimes you have to swallow a pill, and Will said, isn't everyone forgetting that part of the name of the show is Shut Up?
Yeah.
And it is kind of true. Like some things just roll a certain way sometimes, and when you're gonna, one of the things that I noticed about comics that have been around for like a really long time is they just take it. It's going to be a good day, a bad day. They'll go out there like the seasoned comics will go out there and they'll say, oh, this I read the crowd wrong. This went bad.
You have to have thick skin.
And that's it. Or they won't even like say that. But like the newer comics will they'll rehash it and talk about it and why can't I say what I want to say? And it'll be like the older ones are just like, you know what? That's it.
When you tank on stage, when you tank on stage, and nobody laughs in the room, but the loudest laugh comes from the green room, you absolutely know you did well that night.
Right. And that's one thing, too. Like, when you get off the stage and you bombed, you don't blame the audience. You don't blame...
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, when I was first starting, I have a friend who was a headliner on the island. He said to me, I got mad at the audience one time on stage, a long time ago. I got off, and he says, who do you think you are? You have no rights. You have no demands. He said, you have the right to die on stage, and you can demand to do so.
Exactly.
And that was like the best advice. He was like, you have no rights. You have no demands. And then he said that. And there was a quote I never forgot that he said, you have the right to die, and you can demand to do so.
Exactly.
And that's all you have. You can't. You got to look back and here's another thing. Some comics will say, "Oh, I did material, it killed." Then it went back up, and it didn't kill in another place. It didn't kill because you were so confident that your material was going to carry you that you didn't really. Because when you do stand up, it has to appear as though it's coming out of your mouth for the first time, right? You have to create that illusion.
You can't come off scripted, and
right. And if it comes off scripted, or if it comes off that you're totally confident that no matter how I say this joke, it's going to get a laugh,
right?
Then, stand-up comedy is something that has to, within yourself, you have to work on it all the time. You have to always work on it, and that's why I'm not a stand-up comedian, and that's why I don't have. That's why I have so much fun doing the show.
Yeah, and Benny, and thanks a lot. But you know what? It's kind of coming to the end of the show, and plus, I don't know if you know, but you're breaking up a bit. We're getting kind of every other word.
Okay.
So.
All right.
But thank you.
Thanks, Benny.
Thank you, guys. Love you guys.
Love you too,
Love
Benny.
you too. Nice job, Benny.
You rock, Benny.
See you
Good bits.
Saturday. Bye.
All right. Bye, Benny.
Bye-bye.
Benny Rizzuti, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Benny Rizzuti.
And we had his performance up here that's like 20 years ago.
It is 20 years ago.
He actually looks funny back then.
I had a show, the No Frills Comedy Hour, and that was in 1999. I had a public access TV show. Tony is at the end of this thing, too. That's how far back
oh my God.
we all go here.
I had 2 legs and hair.
Yeah. You'll see Tony come out in a minute. He takes him out because...
what, the legs?
Well, you know how like You know how the Apollo, the guy comes out and takes them out? Well, we have our own Apollo guy, and it was Tony, who removes as just like a security guard, and he takes out.
I still feel. I mean, I was messing with him, but I feel bad because it just came out wrong.
You said
but
something, yeah.
As I grabbed him out, went to the mic. I go, "You're out of here because you suck."
Yeah.
Oh my God!
But I didn't mean to sound as mean. I didn't mean to sound so mean about it.
You say it too. You're like, you suck.
Oh,
and like
yeah.
you did something with your face, like you're like, hey, you suck.
Hey, wait! Profanity here, plus you suck! You didn't do this to Don! Get out of here! Get him out of here! My oh my, I can't believe it. Can't use that kind of language here on public access. That's just not right.
That's me doing a little Kevin
We gotta
Meaney.
get Benny back out here. We're gonna talk to him in a few minutes, man. After this.
Oh my God! How old were you then? Well, we won't do. Well, let's not do the math.
I love that. We're going to talk to him in a minute, man. Like you're hanging out in somebody's backyard.
We had the live band. We had everything. It was a fun show.
That's great.
I told you, right? The guitar player in that band turned out to be a good friend of mine for a while.
Oh no shit.
Yeah.
Dave?
John Mistretta.
Oh, John Mistretta. Johnny rocks. Yeah.
When we first became friends, we had no idea.
Oh no shit. Yeah.
And then you posted that video
So you know, like everybody, like from there, because you didn't really know Benny before that.
No, I didn't know Benny then.
Yeah.
Paul Bond, I met
Paul
there.
Bond was on that show.
Wow.
But yeah, Mistretta, I posted a video. Mistretta emails me. He's like, dude, that's me. I was like, what are you talking about? Because I went back to watch it. He had all this hair.
He had the long hair.
Yeah, because now he's got short hair, glasses.
That
I
was,
didn't recognize him at all.
The name of that band was Edith's Bunker.
Edith Bunker.
Oh my God!
No one would even get that today.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, it was crazy. I haven't talked to him in a long time, but for a while we were good friends.
Yeah, blast from the past. I like to have those kind of archives.
Yeah.
I couldn't find all of the complete show, but I have bits of it.
Yeah.
I think I have
Like
another
that.
one too with another comic where you came out and took him out too.
Yes. What's his name?
Russ something. What the hell is his name?
That's gonna
I
bother
wonder
me. I'm
if Russ
friends with him.
Gerard.
That's it.
I wonder if Russ Gerard's still out there. Do you have
He
his-
is. He is still out there.
Oh, very
I'm
good.
friends with him on Facebook.
Yeah, Russ Gerard rocks. He was a hilarious dude, man.
Yeah, he's a little nutty. He's kinda
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Great dude.
All right, so there you go. Hope everybody
It's a lively show.
enjoyed your President's Day. Hope you had a great Valentine's Day weekend. We didn't
See
really-
what the political field's going to be coming up now.
Tune in Saturday. Also Thursday night, us will be back
Yeah.
again
live from Governor's
from the
Green
green
Room.
room.
in the green room. Yeah,
Thursday night at 8.
And you never know what.
I'll be on the after show.
You'll be after the after show.
Yes, the limo talk.
I
after
feel
show.
bad for Graz because he's in Facebook jail. Greg, who does a lot of his sharing,
Yeah.
is also in Facebook jail.
Oh, wow.
Well,
so the
you know.
numbers don't reflect.
Well, maybe it's not
currently, 'cause-
Facebook jail. Maybe just people don't like them.
Oh snap!
They all got
didn't,
blocked.
Graz, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Holy crap!
No. Like I said,
enough trouble today.
Listen, we definitely, like I said, the views are there. They're slowly coming about. People like the show and everything. But like I said,
Absolutely.
when you get thrown in Facebook jail,
Right.
things happen.
There's
Right.
a lot of great shows here on GozRadio.
Absolutely.
including
That's right.
Three's Company on Wednesday nights.
That's right.
With Mandy Jones and Tony Lindolfi
Yes.
and Lindolfi and
Mandy, Bonnie, Mandy, and
Scalise.
Tony.
and Bonnie
And then
Scalise.
don't forget, Punk Rap is on immediately after. Well, at 9 o'clock on Wednesday, she is doing another video this week, live stream video. It won't be
Nice.
just audio, so you can check out MJ on Wednesday. Tomorrow we're back at 11. I think Comedians on Hockey will be on tomorrow. That's at 6:30. Anthony Rodia and Goomba Johnny, Sorry for What, is on at 8 o'clock, followed by Two Girls, One Mic. Tonight, Jam is on. Jam welcomes Ed Ryan, very popular in the Long Island music scene and the comedy scene. So that'll be a good show. We'll be back tomorrow at 11. Our apologies to Dennis, to DJ D-Love. He did try to call several times.
We love you, D-Love, and we know
Absolutely.
you love the D.
That's
Yes.
right. So we're sorry we didn't get to your call. We'll get to you tomorrow. Thank you, Jeff, for hanging out with us.
Yes, Jeff
Thank
Posey.
you.
Thank you,
Thanks
Benny.
for having
Thank
me.
you, Dr. Ken. Thank you, Bonnie, for calling in. And we hope everybody has a great day and a great vacation if they're off this week. We'll see you guys tomorrow.